I mean, I remember vividly this last week, where, I spent time really. Normally, I really enjoy myself when I'm meditating, but now this particular interaction just like just
Yeah,
take over my time, couple of days, and I
yeah,
was like, all right, I think I need to do something about this thing and start like
yeah,
saying, yeah, I love this guy, I appreciate his family, but I need to also pull myself, away from whatever task, whatever, this
yeah.
relationship requires.
Having empathy is great, but that applies to the self as well. And what I mean by that is it's not bad to feel or to be in the defensive states. That is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? The goal is not exactly to get out of them either, because it's just biology. So that's where I'm concerned, and that's where it can become. I don't like using the word toxic, but when people, that's where it can become kind of toxic or unhealthy. I'll say unhealthy, where it's like, oh, okay, I need to always be in my safe and social state and have empathy. It's like, no, sometimes you're pissed off, and that's okay. Sometimes you're in flight fight for a good reason. Let it be. And I think the sooner you can be okay with that on some level, I'm not asking people to go hit anybody or cuss somebody out. I'm not saying that. But instead of saying, I'm in a defensive state today, how can I get out of this so I can get through something? That makes sense. But the way out of it, the most efficient path might be to just notice where you're at and let yourself feel it, to feel the feelings. The
Yeah.
story I shared earlier about the girl that was, having a meltdown, as she put it. I didn't try to get her away from her feelings. We went right at them in a little bit. Like we went the one of the first. I provided safety platform and cues of safety, but right away I said, like, where do you feel what you're feeling? Like we went right at it, and I normalized it. I validated it. I said it's already there. Like, let's just, hey, it is what it is. I'm here with you. Let's do this. But she had a co-regular, so it was easy. Yeah, easier. But even on your own, when you have these feelings, whether it's what you expressed or social anxiety, like the person in the comments asked about, it might be more efficient if you can handle it to say, like, look, I do have these feelings, to validate yourself. That's called validation. When you just recognize they are there, these feelings are there. That's it. Not good or bad, not judging them, not trying to make it go away, just recognizing they are there.
Yeah.
That another step you could take is to say they're there, and with good reason. Like, I went through this thing with somebody and this is how I feel. That makes sense. That's called normalizing. So validating the feelings are there and then normalizing the context of how they got there. And that might be someone who's stuck in a defensive state saying, I do have these feelings of being stuck in like a freeze state, which is this very tense, panicky, or even rageful, like just this energy bottled up inside of you. So I'm in this stuck freeze state. Like, let me just validate that, yes, that's true. And I know I went through this thing that caused it. That makes sense why I would be in this state. So even if you can't begin to like feel stuff on a biological level or on like through meditation or whatever it is, even if you can't get out of your head like the person asked, stick with it. Fine. Validate your feelings and normalize them. And I think we're not used to doing that,
Yeah,
but
we know.
right. But if you think about, like, if I told you I went through something horrible today and I'm still pissed off about it, you would probably say, yeah, I see where you're coming from. And you'd probably say, it sounds like you're feeling pretty angry. And I'd be like, yeah, which is validating me. And you would make sense of what I went through by saying, yeah, I could see why you'd go through that, or I would feel the same way. That's normalizing. So you could do it for me. You could probably do it for yourself if you really tried. It might be hard. True. We're not used to it, yes. But this is a skill I think that people can develop. It's just the feelings are there, name it, and then they're probably there for a reason. I don't think feelings are random,
Great. I
you
agree.
know? So
Yeah.
that could be a step.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I don't think, you know, no one likes to be in that place of internet conflict. you know. And I definitely noticed that myself over.
Do you say internal conflict?
Sorry?
You said internal conflict?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that right? Yeah, like a place where you feel like, you're experiencing something like a defense state or fight or flight state, where you're just anxious about. Like, for example, I have a project I want to accomplish, and I noticed that I feel like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm not just creative, or
Yeah. But
and
so
it's very,
those are stories though.
that's a story, exactly.
So you know with Deb Dana that story follows state, that the thoughts in our mind follow what state we're in.
Yeah,
So the thoughts of I can't do it or I'm not creative enough, that's not the problem. The problem, if anything, is what's driving those thoughts. And
exactly.
usually we try to address the thoughts. If you do thought replacement or change your thoughts, then you'll feel better, which is kind of true. But really, when it boils down to it, it's the thoughts are there because of whatever polyvagal state you're in.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so it's like notice the thoughts, cool. Notice them, that's fine. Like don't judge it, don't make them go away. Just they're there. All right, it is what it is. Now hopefully become more curious about like
Yeah,
how do I feel? What's driving these thoughts? Like how do I feel inside? You know?
yeah,
And if you can notice that maybe on an emotional level, which would be like I feel kind of pissed off,
yeah.
or I'm angry. Like if you can name the feelings, that can help to kind of soften the thoughts, soften the state. If you could, that's validation. If you could take it a step further and say like I'm angry because I went through this thing, and yeah, that makes sense why I'd be angry. That can help soften things. The next step, which is even more difficult, is to be like, okay, so what does anger feel like for me? And that's where you can begin to really like looking inward and feeling tension in your biceps or your forearms or your hands. And if you can feel that or in your back or I carry it up here in your shoulder, if you could feel it, where you feel angry, then you can like really again mindfully feel it, like notice it, and there's going to be some sort of impulse on what to do, and that impulse might be to like just tense and like relax. It might be to strangle something. So Peter Levine recommends getting a paper towel roll and like really like strangling the paper towel roll. We don't want to strangle people. I want to make sure that's known. But like utilize maybe pushing against the wall or like
Yeah,
pushing into your hands like for anger. Like that might just feel right. Like your body wants to push or throw or
yeah,
strangle or like or whatever. So like what's the impulse within you? Like that would be it's hard to get there.
yeah.
But if you can get there and really feel into it, then that might soften again those thoughts, the tension inside of you, the polyvagal state. All those things will kind of relax and activate more of the ventral vagal stuff because you'll be more in your body. If you can really feel it, that means
It's
you're
very
you're well in your
powerful.
body. Yeah,
Yes, it's very powerful. It's
it is.
really, really powerful. And the more you can really associate the stories to a state,
Yeah.
into a particular state in your body, the more you can actually bring it back. Okay, see, okay, do I need to move? Like you said, do I need to? I
Yeah.
mean, or somebody asked me, why do you stop doing yoga? I said, I went to some relationship that I just feel like I don't want to keep internalizing stuff anymore in yoga. I just want to push something, you know.
Mm,
I just want
yeah.
to lift something. And
Yeah.
I went through this period, and there are periods where I actually want to feel like internal movement, and I still do that. But there are times where I just want to just push something, just do
Hmm.
something, just push tire, just lift
Yeah.
something. And I just
Right.
couldn't, I just couldn't be doing those breathing yoga anymore because my
Mm,
biology is asking me for different things. And
hmm.
possibly I want to run, for example. And, some of the blessings of
Hmm.
really getting around a basic understanding, it's so that people can really have more respect for their biology and what it's doing. I mean, like as I was saying that, I noticed that, okay, I've been busy over the weekend with my little boy, and I give him a lot of attention, and then when he goes, I need to rest a little bit, and so I don't have to, and of course, I've been through 19 years of really constant stress. So I don't have to build a Rome in one day. So
Yeah,
sometimes I just really ease on myself, just go for a walk or just relax or make some
yeah,
food. And
yeah,
sometimes close everything down, like fuck everything else. Just
yeah,
just cook some nice food for myself,
yeah.
rather than trying to change the world or trying to do
Right.
something. I just pack it up. Not pack it up, but just like, come on, just ease on yourself.
Mhm.
And I know that, when I'm creative. I don't, I sometimes I put myself into it. But like I was saying, some of the time that I'm not, it's like I'm just pushing myself. I'm
Yeah.
pushing myself. I want to be creative. No, that don't work. That never goes together. And then, and yeah,
True. True. I've been there too. I know for me, like when it comes to content creation, there have been times where when I'm not mindful of my state, I can go into this like flurry of creativity, of content creation, and I'm creating, but I wouldn't say it comes from that ventral vagal safety energy. It's more like just I got to do something. I got to do something, and I did that for years and years and years, and I wouldn't say up until maybe a year and a half ago where I was like, where I realized that this is being driven by some like maybe like freeze kind of stuff where I have all this like buildup within me, but I'm also immobilized kind of at the same time. And then all of a sudden it like bursts and comes out and it's like creating, 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 creating. And so I took that and said, okay, instead of doing that over and over and over again, which I was doing for years, let me just feel it. Like, let me just take this and do some journaling, do some meditating. I have a meditating spot over here that I like to sit in. And I'm just going to feel it and I'm going
yeah,
to see what happens. And that really like helped me to soften the intensity. I'm still very creative. I still create a lot of content, but it's driven more by the love and the passion for it
yeah,
versus like I have to. And
yeah,
I take tons of time off. Like some nights I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go play video games, and I'm okay with that. Whereas before it was like I gotta do something. I gotta do something. You know what I mean?